There was a time when this wasn't just a phone, it was a status symbol. If you had this in your pocket, you were someone important. You were busy. You were productive. That blinking red light could make your heart race faster than any iPhone notification today. And that iconic that was the defining sound of the 2000s. They controlled 50% of the US smartphone market. They earned the nickname CrackBerry because they were literally addictive. Even President Obama had to fight the Secret Service just to keep his. But how did a device trusted by the president, a gadget that conquered the world, crumble to dust in just 5 years? This isn't a story of bad luck. It's a story of pure hubris. It's about a giant that laughed at a new toy called the iPhone and how the feeling of being untouchable became a death sentence. Before we witness the collapse, you have to understand why BlackBerry was once the undisputed god of gadgets. In the early 2000s, mobile internet was slow, expensive, and a nightmare to use. Then came RIM from Canada, offering something insane: real-time emails straight to your pocket. But their ultimate weapon was the physical QWERTY keyboard. That tactile click, click, click was deeply satisfying. You could type out long emails without looking, while walking or even driving, though you definitely shouldn't. And of course, BBM, BlackBerry Messenger. BBM was the ultimate social network long before Instagram blew up. It was exclusive. You needed a PIN. If you didn't have a BlackBerry PIN, you were effectively a social outcast. It locked users into their ecosystem. On the corporate side, they had BES with military-grade encryption. That's why Obama, the Pentagon, and Wall Street loved it. For them, BlackBerry was a serious work tool, not a toy. And that exact mindset, it's a tool, not a toy, was the beginning of their catastrophic downfall. January 2007, Steve Jobs steps onto a stage and reveals the iPhone, a massive touchscreen, no physical keyboard, no stylus. The world was shocked, but the reaction from BlackBerry executives? They literally laughed. Inside RIM's headquarters, engineers watched Jobs' presentation and said, "This has to be fake. No battery can power a screen that big all day. It's just a toy phone that'll die in 2 hours." Their CEO was fatally stubborn. He believed people needed to type fast, so physical keys were mandatory. Typing on glass was stupid. He thought the iPhone was an overpriced, unsecure toy for kids watching YouTube, while BlackBerry was for adults getting work done. They forgot one crucial thing: adults like toys too. Consumers realized typing on glass wasn't that bad thanks to autocorrect. More importantly, browsing the web on an iPhone felt like a real computer. On a BlackBerry, it was a clunky, pixelated mess. By 2008 to 2010, iPhone sales exploded. Android entered the arena, and BlackBerry finally started to panic. They tried to fight back with the BlackBerry Storm, their first touchscreen phone, but it was rushed and completely bombed. The screen physically clicked down, the software lagged, and it crashed constantly. But bad hardware wasn't their biggest sin. Their biggest sin was being entirely blind to the app ecosystem. Apple had the App Store. Google had the Play Store. Developers were rushing to build games, tools, and social apps. BlackBerry, they made it a nightmare for developers. Their App Store was a ghost town. Their CEO famously declared, "We don't need a million fart apps, we need bandwidth efficiency." They were still thinking like a telecom utility company, trying to save data, blinding themselves to what users actually wanted. But the final devastating nail in BlackBerry's coffin had a name: WhatsApp. Remember, BlackBerry's ultimate weapon was BBM. People tolerated laggy BlackBerry phones just to keep their BBM contacts. Then WhatsApp came along with a simple, lethal pitch: Hey, you can chat with anyone. iPhone, Android, Nokia, everyone connects, and it's free. BlackBerry realized this way too late. They kept BBM completely locked to BlackBerry devices out of sheer arrogance, thinking if you want to use BBM, you have to buy our phones. It was a multi-billion-dollar blunder. When they finally surrendered and released BBM for Android and iOS in 2013, the war was already over. Everyone had moved to WhatsApp. Releasing BBM on Android at that point felt like inviting your ex to your wedding, awkward and utterly pointless. Today, BlackBerry as a phone maker is completely dead. The company survived by pivoting to enterprise security software, but their consumer empire is gone. From dominating 50% of the US market to absolute zero in the blink of an eye. The lesson here? In technology and in business, feeling comfortable is pure poison. BlackBerry thought they were untouchable. They thought they knew what people wanted better than the people themselves. They laughed at touchscreens, ignored the app revolution, and were too arrogant to open their doors. When the world evolved into a vibrant playground, BlackBerry was left standing alone in the corner, stubbornly wearing a suit and tie. What do you guys think? If they had released BBM to Android back in 2010, would WhatsApp be as massive as it is today? Or was BlackBerry doomed by the touchscreen anyway? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to NosTec World for more tech documentaries. See you in the next one.